What's up, everybody? Welcome to Tsunami Speaks with your host, Tsunami Jones. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this video if you can, so we can continue to grow this channel. I just wanted to put up a Knicks video for today. I'm still kind of hype off the game last night, as hype as you can be for a preseason game. So I just wanted to drop one today, and then I'll probably drop another one on Saturday, just to make sure you guys are in the know about Tsunami Speaks Knicks drops. That said, let's get into it. Well, last night, the Knicks matched up with the Detroit Pistons, and we won the game 117-96. Obviously, it's preseason, so wins and losses are not really a big deal. However, I can't lie, it was exciting just to have Knicks basketball in front of us and just to see how our guys are competing. There's been a little bit of turnover for the most part with this off season and all the stuff with Donovan Mitchell. So we needed some good vibes, honestly, just kind of coming into the season and all that good stuff, and hope there was no strife or any ill will from any of our players. The good news is we definitely didn't see any of that. Everyone seemed to be in good spirits. The vibes are great. It was fun to watch. And to me, honestly, I won't say that having Donovan Mitchell wouldn't have changed everything. It would have. It would have changed a lot of things. We would be kind of seen in higher regard. It would have been good for the development of maybe some of our players. But all that being said, this is going to be an interesting year because we get to see the next step up from all our guys. And it's scary in some ways and it's fun in other ways. So what I want to definitely say is the Knicks are fun to watch in general, but they're really fun to watch now. The defensive intensity was palpable for a preseason game. They came out like they were serious. I mean, it was electric seeing what the team was doing. The first few possessions, I mean, you got a steal from Mitch, and a dunk, and then I think Brunson had a steal. It was just, you could just tell. I will say this, that Tibbs got the boys ready for a preseason game. You really wouldn't expect that. But all that said, we were really aggressive playing the passing lanes and just kind of swarming to the ball. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm giddy. I love defense. I don't know if it's the football fan in me or what, but it is just so fun to watch players teeing off on other players and getting fast breaks, dunks, layups, whatever have you. Just fun, just exciting. That said, I'll just kind of do some player evaluations here. I don't want to make the video too long. That said, I'm going to go into Jalen Brunson first and foremost because he was everything he was marketed to be and more. He literally picked right up from where he was when he was with Dallas last year in that playoff run. The handle, the footwork, keeping his dribble alive, and just he scores with ease. And you just don't expect that from a guy his height. And it's fun watching him finish around the basket. He has a variance of moves and things like that. I think it was like the second basket that just kind of surprised me how easily he got in the paint and just scored. And I was like, damn. we rolling that out of the bag already? Anyway, for me, I was just impressed by that. The Knicks haven't had anyone like him in a long time, especially as a point guard. And he moves the needle. You can see it immediately. And he commands respect on the court, even though he's quiet. It's just, you could just see it. They all, they defer to Jalen, and for him to be that way and for him to come into that immediately, it's impressive. To be honest, if he was on our team last year, he easily wins us 5 more games. I could even kind of pick easily, some of the games off the top of my head. Like in January last year when we were floundering, that Minnesota game that came down to a last minute shot and we lost. That's one. That game in January against the Cavaliers, that weird damn blowout we had against Charlotte. Those are 3 W's in my opinion if we have him. And then there was a bevy of fourth quarter collapses that we had in March and February. So he probably could have had 10 more wins if we had him on our team. I'm not exaggerating. It's there. You could just see it. The calm that he brings, all that stuff. We would have been in the playoffs last year, but doesn't matter. He's on the team now, and that's something that we could be, really be excited about. And I'll even kind of quote Tibbs because I really like this quote in regards to Jalen Brunson. He said, if you need scoring, he can do that. If you need playmaking, he can do that. If you need him to create pace, create movement, he can do that. If you need a big three, a huge shot, he can do that. I love the way he can control and manage a game. And to me, that's the number one function of a point guard. He doesn't get sped up. He doesn't get rattled. He has a calming influence. I mean, you can't really beat a quote like that. So I had to quote Tibbs. All in all, we got our guy. And how awesome is it to say that? Um, all right, so moving on. The next guy I have to talk about, y'all shouldn't even be surprised where I'm going with this. I have to. RJ. I mean, did you see my baby out there? Did y'all see him? Did y'all see my little cousin, my son, whatever he is? He had 21 points, 8 of 14 shooting in the field goal range, 3-pointers. He was 3 for 5, 2 of 2 free throws, 5 boards, 2 assists, and that was in 20 some minutes. And he had the best plus minus of the team. I know plus minus definitely doesn't matter in preseason, but just to see that, you kind of felt the vibe that when RJ was out there, the team was playing well. That's an indicator. He looks different already. We're seeing better finishing. We're seeing better 3-point shooting. And he just looks more in control. You could tell he was trying to score within the flow of the offense. I think the first few possessions, he didn't get the ball. Jalen wasn't looking his way, and that was fine. Jalen was getting the ball to Mitch. Jalen was getting the ball to Randle. And that didn't bother RJ at all. He was like, my time will come, and it came later. I love that. The passes that we saw from him were pretty good. That pass to Obi was a dime. I know he had a really nice pass to, there was a give and go between him and Cam earlier. And then I think there was another really nice pass to Mitch in that game too. And I'll credit some of the efficiency from RJ to Brunson. Just because of the passes that he was getting from him, or those catch and shoots, they were right in his shooting pocket, where RJ didn't have to think at all. It was just, okay, got this ball, and I'm in the corner. This is my spot. Bang, from 3, you know? I can't wait to see what he has in store for us, because the ease of which he scored. It's like, damn. If he looks like that, he can do a lot. And just that all-around play is what we're looking for. And just his unfazedness. I'm just excited, y'all. I'm not going to lie. I'm excited as hell to see what else RJ's going to do. I won't wax too much more poetic on RJ, and I'll move on to Julius Randle. In the first half, I'd say he didn't really look that comfortable. Maybe he was thinking about the game too much. I mean, this is a pretty big transition for him to move from being the focal point on offense to second or maybe third banana, so to speak, to Jalen Brunson and RJ. His defense looked solid, though. I was pleased from what I saw effort-wise from him. And the good news is we saw in the second half, it's like he gained his comfort level, and he just looked, he was shooting within the flow of the offense. He was, how can I put it? He was finishing around the basket. He settled into his role, and that was good. The body language is good. I know we shouldn't be looking for the man's body language every time we see the guy, but hard not to after what we witnessed last year. But he looked good vibes from the most part. He had a conversation with Fournier at one point, and it still looked copacetic. It's early, we'll see, but I'm hopeful. And from there, I'm going to go to Cam. Oh boy, Lord have mercy, Jesus. I should have prayed over my guy before he took the court last night. So I feel somewhat obligated to apologize to you guys for that injury, because I should have laid hands beforehand, because that was crazy. And I said this on Twitter, I'll reiterate it here, but who has Cam Reddish's voodoo doll? And what's your beef with him? Why are you poking my guy? Why are you trying to prey on his downfall? I don't know what it is, but stop. Leave him alone, man. He's a good kid. I mean, if it ain't that, then, did Cam run under a ladder? Does he have a black cat that he messes with? I don't know. But he needs a lucky rabbit's foot somewhere, because things are just It's just wild for him to get injured by stepping on a ref's foot of all times too, like in preseason. This was basically his opportunity, and he looked like he was going to play some big minutes today. Tibbs was not out here with a quick hook, and it happened. The good news is it's just an ankle. And from what I heard and read about it, it looks like the Knicks medical staff was just very overly cautious. He wanted to go back in the game, and they were saying, "No, you're not. We're not doing this right now." He said he was fine. He didn't ask out. We basically weren't really able to even notice it. I've watched the game twice now, and I still don't see where exactly it happened. So I'm thinking it's not quite as damning as we thought, or as I panicked last night when I heard about it on Twitter. So fingers crossed here. The good news is we don't play until Friday. I'm hopeful that they can kind of ice it, see how he feels and responds, and hopefully he could play on Friday. We may not do that. We'll see what happens, but it won't. I don't think it'll sideline him for the entire preseason unless the Knicks are just very precautious, or like I mentioned before, he's got that bad luck. I don't know. But I will say this in regards to what I did witness before the injury. He looked good early. He came out there, shot that three-pointer. That give and go play with RJ was fun. I think he had a steal in there as well. It's just after that, he started pressing. You could see it. And I think he just knows the sense of urgency that is, in the juncture that his career is at right now. And maybe Tibbs may have even laid it on a little thicker with him. Maybe they had a conversation along the lines of, "I want to play, Tibbs." And Tibbs like, "Well, you need to show out tonight." I don't know. But I think it just got to him a bit. And he made some poor decisions, I'll say, on offense. He wasn't awful or anything like that. It just looks like he was just missing, but I think he was rushing his shots. That's just what I saw. Um, so the crispness, the smoothness that I am used to seeing, I didn't witness it last night, and that was sad. I was hoping things would turn around. We'd see something different in the second half. We need to get that opportunity. Fingers crossed here. He'll be fine, and we'll get to see another opportunity soon in preseason. Mitchell Robinson. He came out with energy. He was making an impact defensively. 3 blocks, 1 steal, 6 points, and 4 boards in 18 minutes. That's pretty good for Mitchell Robinson. But it was more than just reading the box score. It was palpable. His defensive effort, the pressure that he was putting on the ball. That breakaway that he had early where he took that steal, that was exciting as hell. And I was very shocked by it. It's just the manner of which it happened. You could kind of tell that he made some improvements on offense, or just some things he was working on. I thought we were going to get some opportunities to see it. Brunson got him the ball in the paint at one point, and then it was like a offensive 3 seconds and whatever. But the fact that he got there and had good positioning there, I thought we were going to witness something, and we didn't get the opportunity to see it. I'm very eager to see what he brings as the preseason goes on, and then further out from there, the regular season. I think you could just tell, though, that intensity was on the defensive side. He rebounded well. I mean, I know 4 rebounds ain't a lot, but I still thought he was pretty active on the glass. We saw that putback that he had, because of course that's what Mitchell Robinson does, put back dunks. But I think he is trying to go for that Defensive Player of the Year award. I don't think he'll necessarily get it, but if he keeps up the activity that he had, I think he'll be maybe in contention, and that's a step up. Or a defensive team. We'll see what ends up happening with him, but I'm excited. We'll just need to see the consistency from him, because that's one of the main pain points we had with him. He would be inconsistent, and he would have a great game and then just completely fall off. We can't have that this year, where everyone's going to have to go up a notch as far as the team goes if we want to make the playoffs, especially if we want a good seed on top of that. And then next I'll just, because especially after talking about Mitchell Robinson, you have to go to iHeart. This guy, man, yo, we already heard a lot of things about him. that he was a good passer, that he could stretch the floor. Maybe not necessarily a big 3-point shooter, but can shoot the three and all that. And we got to see it and more last night. That was pretty cool. I didn't expect him to go and shoot 3 threes. Wow. Especially in the preseason. I just didn't think he was going to roll that out of the bag. He had 8.7 boards, 2 steals. And just the big thing with him was his activity. He's very active on the glass, and it's kind of refreshing seeing that. Just not just the glass, but just on that end in general. Diving for loose balls. It was just it's his mannerisms, you could just, I don't really know how to say it other than saying like energy, but you felt it. And I think it kind of ignites even more with having players like Obi Toppin and IQ out there. They were all kind of feeding off of each other. You can tell that he takes his passing seriously. I saw at one point where he was at the 3-point line and he was directing traffic. We got a center that can direct traffic and tell the players where to go. That's a lot. I'm impressed by that. I'm just hoping some of these good habits on the offensive end can rub off on Mitch too. Because a passing Mitch, maybe a 3-point shooting Mitch, changes the game even more. But I'm wondering, kind of after witnessing this, is Hartenstein, aka Harty Boy, the Harty Boy, is he going to play more minutes than we all thought? I thought it was going to be pretty much a timeshare, but we'll see. He played 27 minutes last night. Part of that is the Knicks blew out the Pistons, so I think that was the name reason. And maybe Tibbs is actually learning that he might want to keep his players that are more prone to injury out. Bro, Rose didn't play very long, and he didn't need to, by the way. I was very happy with that decision. But that's something to monitor and to watch. And to keep on going here, Obi and Quickley, I'm just going to put them as a duo because how can you not if you're a Knicks fan? You all know that's basically how those guys are. They're best friends and all that good stuff, and they play together a lot. So Obi specifically had 8.6 boards, 2 assists. We saw his usual activity and athleticism on display. He had a few dunks that were fun. He didn't shoot the ball particularly well, but he still seemed confident in his shot. His passing looked good. He seemed to be more attentive on the glass than we've witnessed recently. The 6 boards, you could feel each board that he got, and I thought he chose his spots well there. And his positioning was good. And then going to Quickley, he picked up right where he left off at the end of the year last year, where he was really playing well. He was more aggressive on the defensive end. He had 3 assists, 3 steals, 13 points, excuse me. And you felt those minutes, they were impactful. Those steals were impressive. You can tell that he really is serious about his impact that he wants to make on the defensive end. He might have been a little too aggressive at times, where he went for the steal and I know dude blew by him. I remember at least one time where that happened during my rewatch today. But I'm here for it. I like the aggressiveness. And having a good center in the back that can kind of cover him, that'll be good. So having Hartenstein there is great. But I'm excited from what we saw. He finished in the paint pretty well. Hence why he said he wanted to put on that more muscle, and it was tangible. Like you could see the definition in his muscles and all that good stuff. The only thing that somewhat worried me is he missed 2 free throws. I know that may sound crazy to y'all, but I mean, that guy averaged 90% free throw shooting last year. So it's like 204. That's not the Immanuel Quickley I know, but probably not a big deal. He might not miss another free throw for the rest of the preseason. So I'm going to let that go. And for basically my final note here, I'll finish with Deuce because I have to. So the Deuce was loose last night, and he was out for blood. Ever since I made those comments about him last week, because I was saying that I like him, but on offense, he's inept. That's just kind of how I felt. And I was hoping that we would see some progression on the offensive end, but I'll still start on the defensive end. He was a menace last night. A menace. He was terrorizing the Pistons. It was hilarious, like in a good way, obviously. He was a little thief out there. He was Aladdin. I don't know. And it was just great. Seeing him ignite those fast breaks too. 6 steals, man. All right. You just got to love that. You just do. And we knew that he had that in his bag. That was no surprise, but it was refreshing to see it. And just the impact that he made as soon as he came in the game. So, I mean, offensively, though, he didn't shoot the ball too well. That's really nothing new. And it's to be expected. Hopefully, he continues to build on that end of the floor so he can be out there longer. I don't want him to be an offensive liability. I wouldn't say he's quite that level, but he can be better. And I'm sure he knows that. And I will say this, though. He can still have a role on this team and still get minutes, even the way things are currently, provided we just have a great ball handler on the floor with him, a playmaker. So he can play with Quick. He can play with Derrick Rose, and he can play with Brunson, because those guys will take on that responsibility, and he can just be the secondary ball handler on a particular possession. And, ideally, if he gets his shot together and he can make 3-pointers, then that's relatively easy. So we'll see. But I'm encouraged all in all and overall, especially for the first game. I didn't expect us to be forgive me, but I'm going to use this word, as dominant as we looked in stretches. And I feel like we're still just, on the tip of the iceberg here. Or probably a better phrase I can use than that. But basically, I mean, we're just touching the surface. I know we can, we're nowhere near our ceiling at all. But we got a lot of things to be excited about just off of the first preseason game, and still some things to work out and work on. We don't even know what Grimes looks like when he comes back. So I didn't want to go over every single player because, there'll be a really long video and it's still preseason. But just want to touch on those players and what I saw from each one. Let me know in the comments if you agree, disagree, or if you're just as excited as I am about what Brunson means for this team and just what we witnessed. That said, that's going to be the end of this video, guys. Thanks for watching Tsunami Speaks. Don't forget to like, comment, share, all that good stuff. And I'll see you next time.